How much will 10,000 XLM hypothetically be worth in 2025? Now, even though nothing I say is financial advice, some people may be thinking, oh, what do you mean 2025? Take a look at the market. It's not doing good as of right now. But I'm going to get later on into the video as to why I believe the bull run is far from over and why I still believe the peak of the bull run could hypothetically happen in this year. But even besides that point, if let's say I owned, again, 10,000 XLM, and let's say it were to go to the price of $10, which is my price target for it during this bull run, at that point, 10,000 XLM, that'd be worth $100,000. Now, of course, this is not a guarantee or anything like that. I can't tell anyone to buy XLM, but the way you take a look at it is that when it comes to this, first of all, it doesn't seem that bad because some people may think it's a bad figure. They think, okay, 100,000, take a look at the prices of homes as of right now. They're very expensive, and I'm totally aware of that, but many people that I know out there, they're not just only holding XLM. XLM is one of the pieces of their portfolio, but in most cases, they're not just only holding this. So if let's say I have a very well-diversified portfolio, and let's say I'm holding 10,000 XLM. At that point, let's say again, XLM were to go to the price of $10, $100,000, it doesn't seem that crazy in my opinion, at least, of course, because again, 10,000 times 10 is 100,000. But even besides that, when I take a look at something like this, people like to say, okay, what makes you think you can even go to the price of $10? Take a look at the market as of right now. Well, first of all, the way to take a look at it is that the Stellar blockchain is really going to be a major contributing factor as to why this could very well happen. It's because when you take a look at it, it's lightning fast. And we all know that Stellar is pretty much focused on the exact same markets as Ripple, aka XRP. Take a look at, for instance, the payments market, which is currently valued at over $2 trillion. Also, the global trade and finance market, which is predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. And that's not even that far away. And not to mention, when we take a look at the aspects of ISO 20022, when it comes to Stellar, this is something that people really do love. And I do love this as well. Because if we take a look at it, that right there, again, ISO 20022, that's currently being used by many financial institutions from all around the world for interorganizational data exchange. So just imagine that. This is something that's already up and running. It's already being used in a massive scale, I would say. So when I take a look at the aspects of that when it comes to Stellar, this is something very amazing. Now, does this guarantee that Stellar is going to be amazing? It's not a guarantee, of course, but I think that, if anything, kind of solidifies it as one of these major players in the world of global trade and finance and as well as the payments market, because other projects out there that say they're focused on this, they don't have sometimes the aspects of ISO 20022. But then again, this one's very special, so this is why I like Stellar so much. Now, $10 doesn't seem that crazy either, because if XLM were to go to the price of $10, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $310 billion, which is around a 43x from here. Now, some people may be thinking, okay, that's a little bit impossible, but take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum back in 2021, so we're talking about years ago at that point, that reached around $550 billion in market cap. And keep in mind, back in 2021, during the peak of that bull run, there was roughly only around 300 million crypto owners. Now, there's over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research. So just based off the sheer numbers, I feel like this bull run, at least the upcoming hypothetical peak of it, could be a lot more special than back then. And if I take a look at it in the grand scheme of things, Stellar is actually trying to do a lot more, in my opinion, than something like Ethereum. It may not have the same amount of fans because, of course, Ethereum has a very good fan base, but I just feel like the ceiling feels a little bit higher because it's focused on, again, a market that is very massive, or should I say markets, plural, payments, global trade and finance. I think those are very amazing markets. So I don't see why this is too much to ask for. Again, this is over $200 billion less, again, around a $310 billion market cap, than Ethereum's all-time high market cap back in 2021. I don't think this is too much to ask for something like XLM, especially during this bull run where we have over, again, 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research. But even besides that, usually altcoins, as a worst-case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. And the last Bitcoin halving event happened in April of last year, which is why, again, if you take a look at 18 months from then, would actually mean around October this year. And this is why I'm more so focused on 2025 more specifically. It's because even though this is just based off historical data, there's no guarantees, I just kind of feel like, the bull run is still far from over, and historically this has pretty much been the case. I want to pay attention to it nonetheless. Now, it's not an exact date, of course, but even if we take a look at Charles Hoskinson, who not only is the co-founder of Ethereum, but the founder of Cardano, back in November of last year, he did say that 1 to 2 years from then, he could very well see Bitcoin reaching anywhere between $250,000 all the way up to $500,000. So even Charles's best case scenario timeline for that specific example, which is a year from November, so that's around November this year, kind of fits in line as to when usually altcoins peak as a worst case scenario, historically speaking, which would actually mean around October this year because, of course, 18 months from the last Bitcoin halving event. Now, of course, Charles is talking about Bitcoin, not altcoins, but typically when Bitcoin does do that well, usually we see good altcoins go along with the ride, and we've seen XLM go along with the ride, at least not too long ago. So this is why I do believe that, hey, maybe this year could be very special. However, only time will tell. But $10, that is my price target for XLM during this board, and I'm staying patient. And again, when people like to ask me, hey, is 10,000 XLM good enough? Hypothetically, I would say yes. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. Greatly appreciated. It's Mali the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.